The West Virginia Mountaineer football team has landed 2 more verbal commitments for the 2026 recruiting class, an offensive lineman and a defensive back. We're going to talk about both of those. I'll give you my thoughts on these additions, and we'll do that right now. What is up, and welcome into this episode of Couz's Corner, your home for top shelf college sports news and analysis around the West Virginia Mountaineers and occasionally the Big 12. Rich Rodriguez and WVU got commitments from 2 players in the last couple of days that I want to touch on real quick. The first one is an offensive lineman recruit that they actually flipped from the North Carolina Tar Heels. That's right. He was going to play for Bill Belichick. He decided, you know what? I'd rather go into Morgantown and play for Coach Rod and the Mountaineers. His name is Aiden Woods. He's an offensive lineman, 6'6", 280 pounds, from Abingdon High School in Abingdon, Virginia. And for those of us who live in southern West Virginia, we know exactly where that's at. It's only about a little over an hour down the road from us, down I-77, I-81, not too far away. I actually have friends, followers of this show who live in that area. Paid members who live in that area who know this young man. And they said he is a legit player. He had also had offers from Syracuse and Wake Forest, is my understanding, based on my research over at 24/7 Sports. And based on reading about him, it appears he actually, and watching his film, he actually played tight end at the high school level and defensive line. He was a defensive tackle and a tight end. So you might be thinking, well, why in the world are they recruiting him as an offensive lineman? Well, when you look at his skill set and his size, that's where West Virginia feels like he can excel. They're bringing him in as an offensive tackle. They feel like he has good feet and the athleticism to play offensive tackle at the next level. So I went back and I thought, I'm going to see, obviously I'm not a professional scout. I'm not a coach, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to see what this young man's game looks like. So I'll go and flip on the huddle highlights. And I totally agree with what they're saying. When you watch this young man block from the tight end position, he blocks like a tackle. He gets up underneath you and puts his hands on you, and he turns you, and he pancakes people. He mauls people. He looks like an O-lineman. He's built like an O-lineman, and he blocks like an O-lineman. And he has the mindset, it appears, of an O-lineman. He opens up holes I could run through. And I'm a slow 45-year-old man, out of shape. So I really think this young man can have a future at that position. Now, is he going to come in right away after changing positions and start as a freshman? Probably not. Will he even see playing time as a true freshman? Honestly, probably not. It's going to take him a year or two to adjust to playing offensive tackle, especially at the Power 4 level. He's they're going to want him to put on some weight. Coach Rod has said he wants his lineman to be at least over 300 pounds. He's talked about how Malik Agbo at 270 is too light right now, needs to put on some weight. So Aiden Woods will need to put on weight, but that will not be a problem at WVU with their weight program and their nutrition program. I'd say by the end of his freshman year, he'll be 300, 310, 320, somewhere in there. They will put the weight on him quick, as long as he puts in the work, which I have no doubt that he will. But apparently playing the offensive line, the tackle position, intrigued this young man. So he decided, I'm going to go to West Virginia. I like what they're selling up there. I'm buying it. Let's go Mountaineers. That's Aiden Woods. Very cool story. Tight end to O-lineman. And as far as his defensive line play, he would be really good. I think he could play the defensive line. But I really think he's best suited, looking at his skill set, his footwork, his size, everything. I actually think O-line is his spot. I'm not quite sure he's athletic enough to play tight end at the next level. Just my personal opinion. But I do think he can play offensive tackle. So, I'm proud to have this young man joining the team. Coming to the state of West Virginia, becoming a member of the Mountaineers, assuming he signs. That is, he could always sway and change his mind, or be swayed and change his mind. Now, the next player I'm going to talk about is someone from the defensive side of the football. But before I do that, I do want to stop and give a quick shout out here to a sponsor and pay the bills. One play can change a season. One upset can silence a stadium. With every snap, the stakes get higher, and no one brings you closer to the action than DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting. From live betting to odds, boosts, and so much more, DraftKings Sportsbook has everything you need to stay in the action from kickoff to the final whistle. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get paid out $300 in bonus bets instantly. Own every Saturday with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Couz. That's code Couz to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Thank you for letting me get through the housekeeping and pay the bills. Also want to give a shout out to another sponsor, Appalachia Digital, the folks who designed our website over at wvsportschat.com. Check them out today for your website needs, whether you want to build a website or whether you want to improve your current website, get found easier on Google, all that. Go to appalachiadigital.com/Couz today. Now, the second commitment I want to talk about is Mekhi Boone, a defensive back from Lakewood, Ohio, went to St. Edward High School. He's 6 foot tall, 172 pounds, or I should say attends St. Edward High School. Now, this young man, a lot of fans, when they hear this, they're going to be like, yeah, okay, another G6 player. He's a flip from Miami of Ohio, and West Virginia, at least up to now, as far as my research as far as I've seen in my research, West Virginia is the only P4 school to offer this young man, okay? But I went and watched his tape, and I do think he can play at the P4 level. It might take him a year or so to develop. He obviously needs to put on some weight to handle the physicality of the Big 12. But I think there are some good things about this young man. He's a 3-star recruit. I think he's rated as an 87. I mean, the one I mentioned a minute ago, Aiden Woods, is only rated as an 85. A low, kind of a low to mid 3-star. So Mekhi Boone actually has a higher rating than him. Take that for what it's worth. He's actually good in coverage. I watched him in both man and zone coverages. He can play either, including press man coverage. Now, the receivers he was guarding did not run a lot of complicated route concepts. It was a lot of post patterns, a lot of, just fly patterns or fades, whatever you want to call them. But he was able to stick with them. Now, a few times, he had to stick with guys who were running, harder routes. But he was able to do that. He was able to turn his hips and still follow the football. He's really good at tracking the ball in the air and making a play on the ball. What I like most about him, though, is his physicality. He plays with a ton of physicality. You can tell that he loves to come up and hit people. He always plays at full speed. He plays with great effort. He can come up and play the run well. He's a good tackler. They even rely on him a lot in corner blitzes. He actually has a sack and a QB hurry on the year, or had one in his senior year this year. So he's, can play the run. You can rely on him in a corner blitz where he's good at disguising it. You don't know he's coming. But I love the physicality. He seems to me like he fits a Rich Rod type team where he's just physical, likes to hit, is not afraid of contact. I saw him pick one dude up clean off the ground and put him down. Not bad for a guy who only weighs 172 pounds and is 6 foot tall, right? You wouldn't think a guy with that frame would have the kind of strength he has. I think that bodes well for him at the next level, especially once he gets in the West Virginia weight program. And like I always mention, the nutrition program as well. So I really like, he's fast enough to run guys down if they get past us, into the second, third level. And he has a very quick acceleration. He gets to top speed very quickly. I like that about him as well. But I just think this is a good addition. Coach Rod, they need depth. They need players. He said he'd like to get up to 35. I think this is a good add. Again, not everybody that Rich Rod takes is going to be a P4, is going to be committed to a P4 program or a flip from a P4 program or a 4 or 5-star kid, right? You've got to have some of these kids that might be under-recruited, some of these kids that the staff recognizes as a really good player. I'm sure Zach Alley has probably signed off on this young man, and I trust what they see. I trust their eyes. Again, he's likely not going to come in and start year one, may not even play in year one, but with the right development, the right coaching, and buying into Coach Rod and the West Virginia culture, the hard edge mentality, I have no doubt in my mind this young man can play for this team down the road in 2 to 3 years, if not one. Like I said, he might develop faster than I think, but I think in 2 to 3 years, this young man can be a contributor for the West Virginia Mountaineer football program. You let me know. Go to Huddle and watch his tape. Makai Boone, Makhi. Go check it out on Huddle, and you let me know if you agree with me. Do you think he's a P4 caliber talent? I want to take this opportunity to give a shout out to my paid VIP channel members of this episode. For those listening on podcast, these are the paid channel members that are supporting me over on YouTube with either a $4.99 or $2.99 donation every single month. The random shout outs of this episode are Denny Allen, Daniel Gigax, Shaggy of WV, TS, and Earl Carr. Thank you all for your support. If you want to be a paid channel member, hit join below if you see it on your device, or go over to my channel homepage, and it's right beside my logo / profile photo. Also, I want to remind you that you can support me for free by hitting the thumbs up button and by subscribing. Both of those are right below the video. There's a thumbs up button you can press really easily with your finger, your remote, or your mouse. The subscribe button is either white or red below, maybe even black depending on your device. It's also free. Hit it with your finger, your mouse, or your remote if you're watching on TV. All that's free. It's easy to do, and it's a good way to support what I'm doing here and help my channel grow. There's also a button below called Hype between the thanks button and the download button below if you're watching on mobile only. Check it out. Hit it for me if you don't care. I really appreciate you tuning into this episode. Hope the rest of your day is top shelf. God bless you, and Q Country Roads.